Definitions. To inform is to communicate knowledge and facts, information, in a clear and precise way. In writing to inform, it is important to interest and hold the attention of the reader. This is done by using information wisely and not losing sight of the need to use descriptive detail and appropriate presentation. The language of informative writing. In informative writing, a good way to introduce your sentences is to use discourse markers. These help prepare the readers for information to come. For example, one kind of, people agree that, by far the most important part of, it frequently, the most interesting aspect of this, be clear that it is. Make sure that you use facts after your discourse markers to introduce your opinion. Features. Features of writing to inform include a lively and relevant introduction that uses a topic sentence, the use of interesting and relevant illustrations of general ideas, an organised and logical structure of sentences and paragraphs, the clear use of facts about the topic, descriptions and detailed information about the topic, a formal writing style which can include anecdotes. Using opinions. In informative writing, sometimes it is not easy to tell the difference between a fact and an opinion. Good informative writing should use facts as evidence and be definite about the foundations of the argument. When people merely suggest things, they use inexact language and usually introduce these ideas with words such as probably, should, might, could, would, suggested, may, it appears. Unnecessary words. Informative writing is supposed to communicate ideas in a clear and straightforward way. It is very important not to include duplications or irrelevancies in your informative writing. A word or phrase which only repeats the sense of a word that has just been used is called tautology. It can lead to a blurring of your message or theme. Confusing words. One of the most common errors involved in informative writing is the mixing up of words. Confusing the meaning of words can undermine what you are trying to say. Make sure you choose words which make the information clear and easily understood. Always check the meaning and context of words before writing them on paper. Verb tenses. When writing to inform, writers often change tense. Present tense can be used to give a feeling of immediacy and to involve the reader in what is being described. Past tense indicates events or actions which are established facts or important stages in a process. Future tense or subjunctive tense may be used to imply what may happen in the future. Checking your work. Once you have finished your informative piece of writing, check that you have done all of the following. Made yourself clear in the way you express your ideas. Considered the needs and interests of your audience. Written in the best format possible. Spelt correctly. Presented your work neatly. Used an interesting and descriptive vocabulary. Organised your work into sentences, paragraphs, and whole texts effectively. Definitions. To explain is to make something clear, plain, or simply intelligible. It can also mean to expound and illustrate the meaning of something, or to account for an action or event. When giving explanations, you should explain why or how something has happened, looking at causes and effects in detail. Features. When writing to explain, try to look beyond a very basic outline. Provide a range of detailed explanations, giving every possible answer to every possible question. Do not just use one person's point of view. Make sure you provide evidence to support any statements you make. By the end of your writing, it is important to show how and why something happened. The language of explanation. In order to make sure you are explaining clearly in your writing, try to use some of the following openings to your sentences. One cause could be, consider the view that, the principal reason is, a likely explanation for this is, of course, the concluding point in the argument is. Giving reasons. In your piece of writing, it is important to give reasons for your explanations. Explanation requires straightforward language that the reader understands. Good descriptive detail in the form of reasons is important as it will help the reader understand your explanation. Avoid giving generalizations. You need to look at giving direct speech examples of people's opinions, as well as using statistics, facts, technical language, and examples from different perspectives. Perspectives. When explaining your point of view, you may use first person, I, we, second person, you, third person, observing others, he, she, it, they. When stating your ideas, it is very important to show an awareness and an understanding of other people's views. When you are giving an explanation, you are giving an account of or reasons why something happens. You can also give reasons why a character behaves in a particular way, or how a writer uses language effectively. Structuring your explanation. In the first paragraph of your writing, try to identify the topic you are writing an explanation about. After the first paragraph, structure your writing so that you develop your explanation, with one point leading logically to the next. Remember to provide evidence for the points you are making. Often, in an explanation, you may make a direct appeal to the reader using we or your. Using words like we and us will make the reader feel they have to share your views. In the last paragraph, sum up your points and show you have answered the question. Use of language. Make sure your writing is suitable for your audience. You should match your vocabulary, content and structure to the needs of your reader. Explanations should be written in straightforward language. Complex sentences may not be suitable for younger audiences. Use words like then, next, because, therefore, to help develop your points. Use of direct speech. Direct speech makes an explanation seem more genuine. Double quotation marks are used before and after the words spoken in a piece of writing. When the speech starts, the first word inside the quotation marks has a capital letter. Before the end of the sentence, a comma or a full stop must be used before the final quotation mark. If the speech is an exclamation, you must use an exclamation mark at the end of the sentence instead of a comma. If the speech is posing a question, use a question mark. Definitions. To describe is to inform the reader about a particular subject by drawing or tracing out the qualities, features or properties in words. It is characterized by the use of words which allow the reader to imagine the person, event or object in detail. Descriptive writing tries to show the reader what the writer is imagining. Features. To describe something well, a writer needs to use accurate word images and have an eye for particular detail. Skillful descriptive writing uses words which the reader will respond to, images which will appeal to the senses of the reader, language that will help the reader draw mental pictures of the scene, characters, or events being described. The language of description. When describing an event, writers should choose the right kind of language to make the reader think positively or negatively. Nostalgic writing helps to create positive descriptions. This type of writing looks back at past events through images of happy childhood, nature, and positive experiences. Negative images can be created by setting a certain tone, for example, a tone of coldness, despair, darkness, loneliness, or depression. Language can shock in short, sharp sentences and create fear or suspense, leading to a dramatic ending. This type of structuring creates a different pace for dramatic effect. Use of adjectives. In descriptive writing, adjectives are used to give more information about people, places, or things. They make a piece of writing clearer as well as making it come alive. Listing adjectives can build up a picture of a place or a person's character. Often, adjectives work together to reinforce an idea. For example, she was cool, elegant, and professional in her manner. Use of adverbs. Adverbs add colour and provide more detail about actions. They describe how an action was performed. For example, they sang enthusiastically. He ran quickly. Using adverbs in a piece of descriptive writing will show clearly what is happening rather than just reporting actions. The reader therefore can distinctly imagine what is occurring. Attention to detail. Writers try to give a precise eye for detail in their descriptions. It is a good idea to provide a variety of detail using unusual vocabulary. To interest the reader, writers use a range of sentence structures. For example, most adjectives are placed before the thing they describe. John has an expensive pen. When adjectives accompany the verb to be, they do not go next to the noun. That tie is too cheap. Sometimes in set phrases, adjectives will follow the noun. Mission impossible. Linking ideas. When you are describing an event or person, make sure that you develop and link your images. Linking words such as and, although, who, and therefore connect the different parts of a sentence. This will develop the image you want your reader to see in detail. Never use but, and, or because to begin a sentence. However, using linking words can form longer sentences to establish layers of description in a reader's mind. Short sentences at the end of a long collection of detailed description can be very effective too. Description of a person. Planning an answer. If you are writing a description of a person, it is useful to consider the following aspects as a checklist. Have I written about what they look like? Have I commented on the way they are dressed? Have I commented on personality and mannerisms? Have I explained their motivations and attitudes? Do I pick up on the way they appear to others? Have I shown how this character responds to others?